Yes, guys, welcome back to the Cannon Podcast. And we are here today with another special guest, back to back special guest. First, it was Saeed TV, brother Saeed, who, by the way, congrats on 100K. Massive achievement last night. I was at the, oh, well, I want to say I was at the party. I was in the live stream, watching the live stream through, and it was great to see him obviously enjoy himself. But Grizz, welcome to the channel. I think you're currently on mute, but how you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, bro. I'm doing all right. I didn't know I'm following in the steps of the great Saeed Hussein TV. Like, that's news to me, man. You could have brought me in slowly, man. Not after such a hero like that, man. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Cannon Podcast. Chat, get your questions for Grizz, of course. A massive Liverpool fan and a bit of an Arsenal fan. Look, let's just clear out. You're not an Arsenal fan, but
Appreciator.
you appreciate her. Grizz Teta still is a thing. Is it because your son supports Arsenal?
No.
Okay.
Obviously,
I
people
would have
think
thought it might have been.
obviously people think it's because of that. But I've always had a mutual respect. Because look, I told me and you, we linked up in USA and had some wicked tour there. But I told you that I studied on Holloway Road. Like, that was my uni. So I was always in and around, and plus I'm born and bred East London as well. I know it's North London, but you know what I mean. It's like round the corner. And then I grew up, you know what I mean. Ian Wright. How can you not like Ian Wright, for example? Uncle Wrighty, he's the man. I say uncle, but he's, you know what I mean, my age probably. You know what I mean, Uncle Wrighty. But so that's why I've had always what's the word? Appreciation, innit? Appreciation for for Arsenal Football Club, as opposed to sort of the other, you know what I mean. We don't want to talk about them, but other
We don't talk about them.
institutions. Yeah.
It's
But
a weird
Arsenal,
thing, isn't it? Because I always feel like Liverpool and Arsenal fans get along pretty well. Because it's not really like a rivalry there.
It's not a toxic rivalry. There's a rivalry. We banter. We have competition with each other. We're good. We've both won trophies and stuff. So there is a rivalry kind of thing. We've played each other in not finals, but sort of, cup games, a lot of cup, ties. But it's not toxic. I think that's the best way of describing it.
It definitely is not. And I feel like it's one of those where I think this year's going to be very exciting for both teams. I'm not sure you're gonna see a title race with Liverpool and Arsenal. Hey, you never know. But seeing Slot in his first season, obviously Grizz got his question in. Right, Grizz, I need you to do one favor. I got someone knocking on the door, so I need you to do your magic just for a sec. Give me your thoughts on pre-season and the game against Arsenal. I'll be back in just a second.
Yeah, man. Listen, from a pre-season, while Bhavs goes and answers his door, people. From a pre-season point of view, man, Liverpool's went very well. Fairly smooth. Of course, it's going to be a bit of a transition with the new coach coming in. Obviously, people thinking, is this the drop off? Is this the fall off that we've been praying for? No more Jurgen Klopp. Liverpool down the table they go. But so far, all points to not a downfall of the levels of your club had under Wenger and Fergie, and United had under Fergie. So, and to a certain extent, Chelsea had under Mourinho. So it's one of those ones where, yeah, a lot of Liverpool fans even are anticipating a bit of a drop off, which is natural. But again, like me and you spoke about, and we done a show on my channel. I said, and you said, what's your expectations? My expectations are, I don't want a total drop off. I'm still having my high expectations. I'm not making excuses and saying, no. You know what? If we don't finish out top four, it's understandable. It's not understandable.
Okay, so top four is expectation. And I think
third.
that's a good first season.
Not even
third. So you think over.
Third.
So who would you have in fourth, out of curiosity? Who's the team you think are going to compete for the third place?
After all the hatred I've been showing Chelsea and their fans, right?
Okay.
I actually think they've got good players. But it's just if the coach is allowed to coach. If the coach is allowed to coach and he's able to trim his squad from 67 to about 23, 24 core good players, I think their actual quality of squad is better than United's.
Yeah.
And Newcastle.
I think it's much better than United's quality. And it's weird because you look at the talent they have. If you ask most fans players they would have signed in the last 3 years, most players they've signed is players that Arsenal would have liked, Liverpool fans would have liked, United fans would have liked as well, Caicedo and Enzo, and players that are very highly rated. A lot of talent there. If it clicks with that level of talent, you look at the starting 11 on paper, They are the ideal signings for most fan bases. So the talent's there, the ID is there as well. It's just not the identity right now. You're right. I think they could be a dangerous team if they get it right. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they don't for our sake. Because if they do, with the money they spend, we'll see what happens there. Question from one of the audience here, Grizz. What's the biggest change you've seen for the new manager? Which players do you think will benefit the most?
The biggest change I've seen is in terms of the formation, slight tweak in the formation. He's playing an extra man in central midfield. I think the tacticos call it double pivot. So we're playing a double pivot, tacticos. So we're playing a double pivot now, as opposed to Klopp always played one number 6 out and out DM, and then 2 8s, and he's always kind of played that pretty much like 90% of the time. There was some times where he played a double pivot. This chap so far is playing a double pivot in every game that we've seen so far. He's trying to make us less. So far I've noticed he's trying to make us less susceptible to counterattacks as well in transition, which we had a problem with last season. And in terms of player benefit the most, I've said it very openly and vocally, and he started off very well. The Hungarian Gerard, Dominic Szoboszlai.
I think it's a nickname.
Yeah, it's got a stick now, innit? People take the piss out of it. So it started off as a joke. Like I said it as a joke, right? After 5 games, like, come on, you know me, I'm a rational guy.
Was it after that goal against Leicester?
Do you know what I mean? I think it was a saying, and I said it as a joke, on the Big Six, and you guys know how they, we do it to each other. I'm guilty as well. We take people's points and we take them to the cleaners for it. But I'm going to stick with it as a bit of a joke or whatever. But yeah, I think he's going to be the most. I think he's going to be the most improved player under Slot, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, is that the player you'd say is the one to watch for Arsenal fans or rival fans in general for Liverpool this year?
Yeah, it's. I mean, people are intrigued to see how sort of Gravenberch does in this new role that he's been given. It's funny. I'm on an Arsenal podcast. I'm on an Arsenal podcast, so it's funny because the player I mentioned or compared him to stylistically was Abu Diaby. He's got a lot of traits that Abu Diaby had. And I was a fan of Abu Diaby.
He was a baller.
Take away the injuries, Abu Diaby had talent oozing. I remember him coming to Anfield, just running the whole show from start to finish. And I thought, this guy, they've got an absolute demon on their books. Obviously, injuries didn't let him fulfill that talent and potential. But Gravenberch, stylistically, has got similar attributes. And so I'm intrigued to see how Gravenberch develops as well. Okay, streets will never forget Diaby, as that brother says. Yeah, it's true, man.
Diaby is an absolute baller. And if Gravenberch is at that level and he could stay fit, because I'm pretty sure he's had a few injuries as well, there is a potential baller there. He's former Ajax, isn't he? And he's
He came up through the ranks at Ajax, man. He was in the same sort of whispered in the same wonder kids as what's his names? Your Bellinghams and all that.
Do you know? I think I was at a game. It was Ajax versus Dortmund. This was at Dortmund Stadium a couple of years ago, and it was Bellingham playing and Gravenberch playing, and that was a comparison at the time. And yeah, he did stand out straight away. I think that was when Anthony was still at Ajax as well, and he did that. That famous flick. He kind of took the ball down on his like a heel or something like that. That was the game there. So you're right. He's always been highly rated.
Do you know the funny thing is, here was a Grizz bomber from 2019.
Grizz bomber. We need like a notification for that.
2019.
Bomber.
You know what? Was it 2019? I'll check my Twitter again. I said Gravenberch and Bellingham at Liverpool 2023. And how close was I? So Gravenberch obviously got to Liverpool, and Bellingham, we know the story about Bellingham. We were in him until we realized we couldn't afford him, and we pulled out the last minute. So that would have been the biggest bomber ever. Like, how do 3 years prediction? But yeah, that was so close. Obviously, because we have been following Gravenberch and Bellingham, but obviously Bellingham wasn't to be. But Gravenberch ended up at Liverpool.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, well, Grace, as you said, we are on the Arsenal podcast, so let's talk some Arsenal. Mikel Merino to Arsenal. We have got the Here We Go or the There We Land, whichever you prefer nowadays. And here was a photo of him saying his advice to the Sociedad staff. So look, this deal is happening. It's a done deal as long as he passes his medical, but on his way to London right now. And the Arsenal fans, I'm pretty sure we'll be tracking his flight soon. I think there was another report actually came out that his flight, he said to catch a flight at 1:10. So, what a major thing for Arsenal fans and the Arsenal fan bases, especially on Twitter, is we start to track flights, cloud formations, and a lot of detective work goes behind these transfers. I don't think we need to be quite honest, because it looks like he's going to come to Arsenal. He's going to head to Norfolk, which is actually pretty local to me. I don't know why. Maybe might have to head over there and see what happens there. But Mikel Merino, Grizz, Arsenal player, soon to become. Looking at the midfield now of Odegaard, Rice, and Moreno, and you still got the depth of Partey and Jorginho. But that specific three there, Odegaard, Moreno, and Rice. How does that stand out to you as an outside perspective? Is that something that you'd fear playing against Arsenal?
So to me, this screams of solidifying squad quality as opposed to a game changer signing. Now, obviously, Arsenal fans may say, "What would you mean? He's Moreno? He's a game changer for us." But I don't think he is, but I definitely think he's a quality addition. I definitely think he's. So obviously, Xhaka left 2 seasons ago or a season ago, I think. And to me, he's very, very similar stylistically to Xhaka. Nothing extravagant about him, but he's very physical. So was Xhaka. Some would say Xhaka was over physical, but this guy is very physical. He wins his battles. He's got that physical trait that I think Arteta's trying to instill throughout your team, and which you need in the Premier League. People talk about the pretty football Man City and Arsenal play, but trust me, they're a team of giants as well. We know Man City have got 6'7", 6-footers. I think you lot are probably in and around the same. It's one thing that I've asked. There you go. It's one thing I've asked. It's like I've got a direct line to the transfer committee, but yeah, you know what I mean. But I wanted Liverpool to increase the physical, physical qualities in our team as well, because you have to have ballers and you have to have physical attributes. This guy fits the bill. I think he's a very neat and tidy player. I think he improves your squad quality. Absolutely. Is he is he a game changer? Is he the difference maker that means that you get over the line in terms of pipping City? I don't know, because I think many of your fans and even you would argue that you need a goal scorer or certified goal scorer more than a midfielder. But then again, watching Partey's performances recently, many would say he's an upgrade on Partey, possibly not position for position, but in terms of the squad depth. So, and Jorginho's not getting any younger. I know he's been fantastic for you guys every time he stepped in, but it's I think it's a very solid signing. I think you have slightly overpaid for him, considering he's in his last year. But trust me, as a Liverpool fan, we know how hard it is to prize away players from Real Sociedad.
Yeah. No Martin Zubimendi. But hey, was he about that in the future? He signed a new deal, by the way, Zubimendi at Sociedad, or was it just like he stayed for 1 season?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. He's been offered it. Yeah, so I don't know. That might be one to be continued. But listen, let's not dwell on that too much.
We'll see about that. But yeah, in terms of, you're right, Moreno and the height he adds to our team, 6'2". I think he won the most aerial duels out of any midfielder in Europe last season. So when you've got a tall side as it is, Havertz 6'4", 6'5", Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Ben White, you've got Calafuri coming in as well. These are area dominant players. We are becoming a side like we were back in 03-04. And look, I was too young to watch Arsenal back then, to be honest. But one of the things that stood out to me when looking back at those games is the size and power of our team. And you'd have people in the tunnel say, look across these guys and go, look, these guys are not just technically amazing, but they're powerful beasts as well.
Yeah.
And then you had the stereotype on Arsene Wenger towards the end of the days, Santi Cazorla, Mikel Arteta, Sam Nasri, Sacha Fabregas, the diminutive, technical players. Mikel's gone back the opposite way. He's gone, I want physical, brute players in there that have the technical ability, of course, because these guys are elegant on the ball, but have that physique to go and bully teams and intimidate them. And it is true, man. You see a guy who's 6'2" and he can play as well. It is a bit scary. So, Mikel Merino gives us that as well. And set pieces, we already one of the best, I'd say the best team in the league at set pieces. We've now added 2 more people with Calafuri and Moreno that are over 6 foot, that have got very good area records as well. Yeah, Nicholas Jova, man. He could be cooking something else. And I actually want to kind of downplay Jova right now because I'm scared that if we keep talking up so much, that Real Madrid might come through and go, hang on a minute. You know what I mean? This guy, we need him as well. But
Yeah, but
we'll,
I
we'll
mean,
see what happens there.
the only thing, as I said, was I'm a bit slightly surprised with was the price. G Star thinks it's a bargain. 30 million for someone in his last year of his contract and his age. Is he how old is he?
He's
28,
27,
29,
to be fair. So
27.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't
Age-wise,
think he
fine.
is. Yeah, 27. So I was surprised by. I thought he was at 29, 28 personally. So a year younger than that. And I think, do you know what it is? I saw a report from Fabrizio saying we got us favorable payment terms. So I don't think it's all in terms of maybe it was less upfront or something like that instead. And ultimately speaking, I think £29 million in this current market for players that have gone for a lot more than that. And let's not forget, he's a high quality midfielder. Last year, ranked as one of the best midfielders in terms of all of Europe, numbers wise, in Champions League and Premier League. And La Liga. He's had history in the Premier League as well. He's won the Euros with Spain, scored a very important goal for them against Germany. Like, I think people are undervaluing him as a player, personally speaking. I think he was a bit younger. Let's just say he was 24 and he was putting up the same numbers. He'd be automatically put at 60, 50 million pounds. But because he's a former Premier League player that didn't quite work out, people start going, oh, hang on a minute. He's not quite a big name signing. But yeah, look at Zubimendi, for example. He's a bit younger. People go, okay, 50, 60 million pounds straight away.
But this is exactly my point about in terms of how Arteta's going about doing it.
Oh, it's 28.
It's not 28. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he's about 28, 29, but obviously he's 28. So, but age-wise, that's fine. It's probably in his peak, at his peak, sorry, I should say, in terms of game maturity, his experiences. We know he's already played in the Premier League, albeit when he was far younger and at a volatile Newcastle at the time. It's not the Newcastle that we know now. So obviously that will aided him. Uh, And in terms of what you said about big names, and so when I said that he's not a game changer, I didn't mean that. I wasn't being overly critical. What I meant was from a fan's point of view, as in like they want big names. But Arteta's doing something very similar to, for example, Gini Wijnaldum, for example, wasn't a household name, wasn't a big name when we signed him. In fact, he was from relegated Newcastle. Yet he ended up being a Champions League winner, uh, a league winner with us, whatever, and Klopp turned him. He knew what he wanted from him. And I'm sure Arteta knows what he's Arteta being Spanish as well. Arteta knows him from
Yeah.
from his country and following La Liga. He will know his qualities and what he can bring to the Arsenal setup. It's not always about what we fans perceiving a player or seeing a player and his qualities. It's what the coach thinks he can utilize him for. And Arteta's vision will be different from what me and you probably think of what he can bring to the thing. So I think he's a very comfortable. I think it's a very comfortable, solid signing. Let's just put it that way. Very comfortable
Very
and solid. I think
comfortable.
that's the best way of describing it.
Yeah, solid. That's true. And he's on his way to London to complete his medical. Fabrizio confirms that. It's a 4-year contract with the option to 5. And there's a good comment here saying, look, Gundogan's 33. So why are we acting like 28 years old? I
No,
think
no, we're
football
not
fans
acting.
in
Yeah.
general. No, I don't know if we are, but football fans in general, I think because every team now is going towards the younger route instead. Everyone starts going anything older than 25. Oh, hang on a minute. But, we're at the stage now with, two of our most important signings in the past year. Jorginho, over 30, Trossard, 28, 29. These are players that are the peak of their powers. And sometimes you need that. Players that are instantly, they know exactly what to do. They know their role in the team that they can impact straight away.
Not only that, Babs, I think you're at that stage now where you need to buy players at their peak. You've done the whole building up the profile of players. You built up Gabriel, Saliba, Odegaard, Martinelli. How many can we mention throughout the
Yeah.
throughout your
Yeah, we
spine?
made quite a few.
And why? Yeah, you've made them all on the verge. I won't say world class yet, but on the verge of world class. So you've done that part.
Odegaard's
Now
world
you need
class.
to who?
Odegaard.
Yeah, Odegaard. I love Odegaard. Yeah, but you know my point. My point being is
No, I
like
know what you
you've
mean.
done that. You've done that stage. Now you've at that stage where you need to buy people that are in their prime so they can assist you in getting over the line. And Arteta feels this is one of those ingredients. Now, if you top that up, I mean, I didn't know if you want to segue into sort of what you need, but if you
We
wanted to,
will. No, we
if you
will.
top
We
that
will.
up, if you top that up with a world class attacker, I don't know whether it's right wing, left wing, or centre forward, but an attacker, world class attacker, because
Yeah.
Trossard, for example, was a fantastic buy. But now
Very
you
good.
need,
Yeah.
I think, you need that X factor to get
Mhm.
over that line past this
Yeah.
damn city. And so let's see how it goes after that.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. But in terms of just the final point on this midfield here, Looking at that there, Rice is a 6, Merino left 8, Odegaard right 8. What does that rank in the current league? Is that top 2, top 3? Is that top 1?
It's difficult to say, man. It's
Because
difficult
what's
to
City's
say.
midfield? Is it now Gundogan again? Is it okay? So you got Rodri and De Bruyne, and then who have you got next to that?
If you, I mean, I don't know, like if Gundogan doesn't even walk into that team, because you got to remember KDB and Silva and Rodri is not a bad midfield currently. They've already got, you've got people, and I argue with the 13 Man City fans that I know. I argue with Man City fans about Gundogan, without doubt, was Mr. Clutch. Like he was a fantastic, fantastic clutch moments player. But people forget overall in his Man City career, he hasn't been a regular starter. He's been very inconsistent in terms of being part of this opening, starting favored lineup. So it's difficult to see. It's difficult to tell. I don't know. Maybe I need to ask you: is this your favored lineup? And if so, two left footers as the eights, has Rice been at his best as your number 6, or is Rice better as the 8? Because some of your best football was with Jorginho as the 6. So
Mm.
it's a
No,
tricky
but
one.
I don't mind the two left footers, and I say that because our best midfield was a year ago with Xhaka, Partey, and Odegaard,
Yeah,
and yeah, two left footers there.
yeah.
So, and a lot of us fans would agree that if we had Xhaka last season and that profile at the start of the year to just give stability and give Martinelli that platform as well, we would have had the extra point to win a title. So now we've replaced him with a similar profile, who I'd argue is even more comfortable in the final third. I think this is the midfield 3, and I think Rice is a 6, by the way. We talked about Partey in the early parts of the season. He struggled a little bit with a few misplaced passes and, physically as well. But Rice's ability to cover distances is the best I've seen at Arsenal. In the league, in my eyes, the ability to cover ground and help players a 6 and hold the midfield together. Is he as progressive as Partey? Not really, but I don't want my 6 to be as progressive as maybe my 8s, anyways. So when you've got two metronomes in front of you who can break the lines and play those progressive passes for you, maybe you got the Timber or Calafiori who's also very good at carrying the ball out of the back. I think we'll be able to supplement him nicely. So this is a midfield 3 for me, and I feel like it's top 2 at least. I don't think of Man City is the only one I can think of with the quality they have with Rodri, of course, world class, and De Bruyne. Past that, I can't think of another midfield that is as good as this midfield. So
No,
maybe
currently
if you,
no. I mean,
yeah,
I can't throw my hat in the ring either, because we've got a revamped midfield. We've got
yeah,
total personnel change. We bought 4 only last season, and some Liverpool fans will tell you we don't really know our strongest. So I can't throw my hat in the ring yet. Although potentially, Gravenberch, McAllister, and Sabozlai is a lot of potential and power there. But as I said, I don't want to speak on it because we haven't seen it. Just like
no,
it's
no,
very difficult to speak on yours yet because we haven't
yeah,
seen how they function. So Odegaard, I don't know about you, but Odegaard has been given. I know you had him in a. You think it's going to be like the way you set it up. You thought it's going to be Mourinho and Rice as a
yeah.
double pivot,
Not
as
really. I
opposed.
think it'll be Rice as a 6 and have it will be our midfield from 2022-23.
Right.
That's what I see, and that's where Odegaard scored 15 league goals. And then you had, of course, Xhaka having an impact, and then you had, Partey your 6. Because Marino's, I think, is a bit more comfortable in those tight spaces. Xhaka was never an actual natural number 8.
Yeah.
Even going to Liverpool, he's playing a double pivot. He did very well in that role. But Marino's naturally doing that for years. At Sociedad, he's done it for Spain as well. In Spain, they're used to playing a 4-3-3, left-footed, but able to overlap. We talked about maybe him not being a difference maker, but he could well be. When you put him alongside Calafiori, on the left-hand side, Timber returning as well. Our left-hand side's been reconstructed. And I think that was a major thing for Arsenal last year. We didn't have balance. All our goals are coming from the right-hand side. Now you've got the left-hand side, which is completely revamped, and you've got Martinelli given a platform again. We could add another 10 goals from that anyways. So, yeah, I
I
feel
think.
like,
I think.
with the duels as well, it'll be
Do
amazing.
you know what? Do you know what? I think this. I think the point that you made about Martinelli being given, or you did, or maybe I was thinking, and you
A
didn't say.
platform.
Maybe I was thinking in my head, but what I was thinking in my head was, it gives because Martinelli, right? He's one of those players that doesn't shirk away from hard work. Like
No.
Martinelli, like tracks back, and you can see him just like running up and down that wing, like hundreds of times it seems in a game. Maybe Arteta doesn't want that from him anymore. Maybe Arteta wants him to reserve his energy in the attacking third. And so, therefore, he solidified that left side to do a bit of covering, like, sorry to bring it back to Liverpool, but that's all I know. Like Henderson used to cover the right flank. Henderson was so underrated, not glamorous at all. but what his aim, one of his aims was to cover that right side. So Salah doesn't have to do all the donkey work, so to speak. I think maybe Arteta thinks, Martinelli, I want you to get full license to think attack only. Not only, but you know what I mean. Majority, don't worry about tracking. By the time you get the ball, you're tired. So I think that could be a shrewd tactical change that you could see, because you're right. Marino's used to playing that role. Marino's used to playing in the Spain where you have overlapping wingers galore, like whether it's Williams on that side or Yamal on that side. So I think it's a shrewd tactical signing.
It is, and it's basically done. So now we look to the future, because as Arsenal fans, as football fans, we're very greedy. We can never stand still.
What's next? What's next?
What's next? Give me the next one. Mikel says anything can happen, and we have to be ready. A lot of surprises can come. We'll be prepared, and yeah. So he basically saying, look, Arsenal's on the market, and it's not a surprise. Of course we are. I think the idea of a game-changing attacking signing, you mentioned it earlier. That's what Arsenal need. I'm not quite sure at this point if we can get it over the line. We're talking about the final week of the window, 7 days left. Unless they've been negotiating all summer behind the scenes for a secret play that we don't even know of, or we do know if we haven't been told of, then I don't think the only signing we can make is maybe a short-term signing. And to be fair, that would still be a nice thing as well, having that short-term signing come in for a season, give us the extra 5-10%, and be a short-term solution. And then next year, when more strikers that you want are available, maybe an Isak as an example, you can go and spend the right money on the right player. I don't want you to go and spend £60 million on a player you aren't convinced about right now. As long as you're convinced he's the right player, you go and sign him. It could be an older player. It could be someone that Arsenal fans are against. And we've talked about a lot of players. But anyways, here are some rumours that have come out for Arsenal targets. Adam Lookman coming out of Atalanta. Now, I think he's going to PSG, if I'm being honest. I've seen a report that he's on the verge of an agreement there, and that he wants to go to PSG. He's had a very good year last year. Surprisingly, he scored 17 league goals, or 17 goals in all comps for Atalanta. Of course, a hat trick
I'm not.
in the Serie. Yeah, I mean, he had a couple stints at Everton as well. I think Leicester for a period of time. He was at Leipzig at one point as well. But he's had a very surprising career. But since going to Europe, he's been thriving. Nigeria international. So 17 goals last year. I think he had 10 plus league goals in back-to-back years in Serie A as well. And available for around 50-60 million pounds. He had a report coming out of Italy saying that Arsenal might be in a move for him, but I think you even had, I think Florian Plettenberg confirmed that if PSG moves all through, then Arsenal will come into it. So we'll have to see in that. But what do you make of Lookman, the player?
He came to prominence in my eyes when he scored the winner for Leicester City in our season that we finished 1 point behind Man City.
Okay.
We dominated the game. We hit the bar like 4 or 5 times post, and Lookman had one chance and he scored it. It hurt a lot, but that's when I first saw this guy. I'm a fan. I know you said it's surprised to hear him 17 goals. I think he's a very accomplished finisher. Obviously, he showed some of the sublime finishes that he done in the Europa League final. I don't know if Arsenal need him though. I don't know what you think, but you got Trossard, you got Martinelli. I think you need very much like Liverpool. You need competition or an understudy, or call it what you want, another option for Saka, like we need for Salah. I think you lack that. I think we lack that. I think Lookman, we looked at Lookman, but I think, well, people that follow my rubbish know that I think Gordon will become a Liverpool player, whether it's this window, January, or next summer. Hey, Gordon.
Chris Bamba.
I've said it. Yeah, Chris Bamba, do that noise. Hey, Gordon. So, but now, but we've looked at Lookman as well. And I think he suits the Premier League. I think, obviously, his time at Everton, it wasn't too glorious. But, Everton, right? I don't need to say anymore. But it's like the Spurs of the North, right? So, that's what I'm trying, so it is what it is. But I think he's your type of player. I just don't think he's the one that you should be spending 50-60 million pound on.
Yeah.
I'd be disappointed if he went PSG though. That's just such a dead move for him, man. Like, what's he doing there? But
I'm surprised.
For example, if Newcastle were to let go of Gordon, it's something that Newcastle could look at. I know they got Harvey Barnes, but he's something that could thrive there. Aston Villa. I definitely think these are the clubs. Spurs. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's true.
These are the kind of clubs that should be looking at him. So PSG is a bit of a I'm not happy about his.
He wants to go. He wants to go to Paris, so we
Wow.
have to let him go to Paris. And Grizzly, I'm sure you're a big fan of Paris. But like, listen, the player himself, the stats look very nice as well, but I just don't see the deal happening. And it's surprised that you sent we need a backup for Bukayo Saka, and competition. But does anyone ever say that for Kevin De Bruyne or Rodri, or that the guaranteed starters for most of these top clubs? I'd say not really, because these players you can get competition, but they're still going to be the start at the end of the day. They're still going to be there like
you do.
9 times out of 10. So you're asking a player to leave a club that he may be a starter at, maybe pay him a bit more wages, but ultimately not start 9 out of 10 games. And who would accept that? And we talked about so many Arsenal fans over the years. So sign Michael Olise. Michael Olise is the one, or Kudus is an example. These guys are starters elsewhere, and they can go to clubs, have a high quality and be starters.
Absolutely.
Why come to Arsenal when you got a player in front of you who's obviously a world-class quality in my eyes? He's always fit and available, and you might get the odd start here and there. You're talking about competition. It's not really a thing in my eyes. But what you can side instead is a more versatile forward. All trust maybe someone like Gabriel Jesus, who used to thrive at City, as a right winger. He scored a couple important goals in the Champions League. Yeah, I think that game he scored 4 out of 5 goals against Watford as a right winger as well, and even goals against Real Madrid. So I think it's an internal solution personally, whether it's a Vieira or Jesus or someone else, even Martinelli at times played there. I don't think it's a matter of just signing an actual right winger to back up Saka. Not in my eyes, at least.
I'm not a Vieira fan. I remember having a conversation with you about it as well. I don't think Vieira is the one for you guys. For example, I think there's more attackers than your. For example, Anwaneri. I hope I said his name right. Or for example, I think he's the one. I absolutely think he's the one. Fabio Vieira. I said it at the time. I said I don't think it's a. But that's fine. You not every signing is going to be perfect or good for you, like, do you know what I mean? So I don't think Vieira, but all the others that you mentioned, you have got solutions within. And Ranieri 100% should get chances, definitely in the cup games at the very least, and as an option off the bench instead of bringing, Nketiah, you bring on Ranieri. You know what I mean? It could be difference. It could be the difference. We were out in USA and saw him in the preseason friendlies, and he looked ready. When I say ready, I don't mean ready to start, but ready to make have an impact.
Yeah,
and I think
he was very amazing. Grace, I want to ask you about a former Liverpool player. And I don't know if you know where I'm going here, but there's a player who's available. He's a number 7. And look, a lot of Arsenal fans are against it, but some Arsenal fans are really for it. He's a former Man City League winner. He is available on maybe a loan for a season. Massive wages, by the way. But look, if we're at this stage now, we're in the final week of the window and Arsenal need a forward signing, we need one, right? I mean, who else is available on a short-term loan when you've got a potential Premier League winner available? I'm gonna keep saying it because people keep saying that. Oh, no.
My little bro.
Would you rather have no one than Sterling? Like no forward but Sterling. Is he Anthony level bad?
No. Absolutely, he isn't. No way. Like anyone who says that is delusional and just a hater of the guy. And there's other motives at play. But what I will say is, from what we know of Mikel Arteta and the way he's revamped your squad in terms of unity, in terms of understanding, humility throughout the squad, in terms of everyone on the same wavelength and page, you do not need a Raheem Sterling who, shall I break it down for you very simply?
Go on.
Was very good at Liverpool, but yet wasn't loved at Liverpool. Was amazing at Man City, but wasn't loved at Man City. And now he's leaving Chelsea and not loved at Chelsea. This guy is not loved, and it's for a reason. There is an issue with him. Obviously now's not the time or the podcast to go into it, but from people that I've spoken to in and around, he's not a very loved character, blah, blah, blah. And Arteta's all about. I mean,
Mikel says he's someone that I feel really have strong feelings about. So maybe Mikel likes him.
We'll see. If that's the case, then he should snap him up, get him cheap.
Yeah.
He's the X factor. He's the X factor we just discussed. Raheem Sterling.
He's a quality player in my eyes. Forget about his time at Chelsea.
Raheem Sterling would be the experienced, guaranteed winner, one at every level, all of that business. But will Arteta want to upset the apple cart with Raheem not starting every week? Does he start every week for you? No. Is he a certified goal scorer? No. Is it worth the risk at that kind of wage? If he's looking to half that wage for you guys and he's hungry and he wants to prove himself, then this could be a banging signing in terms of Arteta
Yeah.
convincing him. Show me that you're motivated. Show the league that you're not a bad apple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And come and win the league for us. So
It would be crazy. It would be crazy, man.
from that aspect,
And
I see it. But from
exactly.
what I think I know about Arteta, and obviously it's not as much as you lot because he's your man. But from what I limited know about Arteta, I don't think he goes near him. But you never know. Football's mad. Football's mad. He might just,
and that's why I keep putting his name out there, because look, we've been on deadline day before, and when Arsenal are looking for a player, we've signed Jorginho. Jorginho was universally hated at Arsenal. Never, don't sign Jorginho.
Yeah.
And he's been a very important signing for Arsenal. So it all depends on the price tag. We're not going to sign him a permanent, but it depends on the deal itself. But it looks like Palace want to sign him. You had reports that Villa being offered as well. I mean, it'd be crazy for them clubs to get him. And look, I think if he goes to a Villa or a Palace, and he'll do pretty well in my eyes there and star straight away. Fans will go, oh, wait a minute, he actually isn't that bad of a player. I think as fans were too reactionary to their season itself. They don't look at his career in general and how quality he was over his time at City. If we had signed him out of City instead, fans would have been a lot more gassed. And it was the same with Havertz and Jorginho. So look, I don't think it's a save me type of project, but for a last case option, I don't think it's the worst. The breaking report we do have.
Yeah, it's a random one.
It is. It's an option from Miguel Delaney, saying that Arsenal are weighing up a move for Nico Williams in the last week of the window. There's an awareness his preference is to stay in Spain, and if they can't get him, they'll likely drop down to lower targets. Arsenal will only go big for specific names. So I don't know who the other names are. At this point, you've had rumors of Rafinha and Chiesa, but Nico Williams still available technically because his release clause is there, and Arsenal fans know about our history of release clauses in deadline day. It is possible. Is this a signing that would be the game changer, a world-class player that Arsenal need?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, sir. So we were talking about game changers and X factors. Put the fear factor, all those questions that you asked about Merino, and I said no, but absolutely quality in terms of his own right. This guy is the X factor, the game changer, bro. Ski. This one would really sit everyone up and take notice. People are noticing Arsenal anyway. Yeah, you've been in two great tussles, right? But to get over the line, you need an X factor. This guy has got that X factor. I have to hold my hands up and say he's better than I thought. He's better than I thought. So, football's a humbler. We already know that. Opinions are there to be changed. I thought he's good. And I thought, what's so much hype about this kid? You see him play football consistently over the Euros at the highest level. And from his time at, Bilbao, and this guy is the one. I think he's electric. I think does he score enough goals? I just think he creates enough chances for you to score more goals and win games where you may have dropped a couple of points with a draw here and there. He'd be your X factor to get you over the line, in my opinion. But we already know how hard it is to prize these guys away from their
Spain's hard.
So, yep. So I would, unless I don't know, you'd have to sell some huge project, and it's all about.
I mean, yeah, the wages are massive. I don't know if you know this, but he's got a very high contract at Athletic Bilbao.
So
like 200k a week, which is crazy.
So that wages can be worked with because they were just a one-off. I believe they were like on a rolling contract because in order to entice him to stay with them for one more year, they just put him on a high wage for that year. It's not his constant wage. So you could deal with that. That's not an issue, in my opinion, from what I know.
Cheeky little Grizz Bomber there. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we'll see. I just don't know. He's got a new number at Bilbao as well. I think he's just got a number 10 shirt. So
that's right.
Looking at the little things like that, I always go, look, that means the player isn't going, personally speaking. So
the other two names that you mentioned, Rafinha, Premier League experience, definitely Barcelona looking to flog him. That's a shout. I don't think he'd be too disheartened to be in and out of the team. I don't know what Brazilians are like, to be honest with you. Sometimes they can be temperamental, but like you said,
we've got good Brazilians, innit? We've got Gabriel and Magalhaes and Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli. Can you have friends?
I think that could be one to look at. I think that could be one to look at in the last week.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's the one I'd want the most because I think it makes the most sense. just out of the profile itself and the experience, and also how creative he is as well. I really wanted him when he was at Leeds. I think he was an amazing player there. So the fact that he could be available now, and Barca need to sell players to register their own players, I saw a report they actually want to make a move for Rafael Leao. So if that is the case, they need to make a big sale. Grizz, we do have a massive, in my eyes, gargantuan game this Saturday or tomorrow. Aston Villa versus Arsenal, the only team, well, not one of the only teams to beat us twice last season. Man City couldn't do it, but these guys could. Unai Emery versus Mikel Arteta, with all the debates about who is better, Emery or Arteta, and all that type of stuff. Perfect timing because we've got the game this weekend. What's your feeling as an outsider going into this? How excited are you to watch this game, and who do you think is going to come out on top?
Me being a football man, I'm dead excited about this. Take away the Liverpool aspect of it. I love football, as you know. I'm a real, AKA community man, real football man. This is one of those games where you think, yo, this is a statement game for both teams. Aston Villa on the back of qualifying for Champions League, people are thinking, was it fluke? Are they the real deal under Emery? He's done an amazing job. Up against his former club, we already know the damage he caused or done last season. And on the other side, we got Emery and all the talk this season about who was the better manager for Arsenal or who's the better manager currently. I think this is an intriguing game. I think it's an early, and I know it's game week 2. I know it's game week 2. I'm not stupid enough or, reactionary enough. But what I mean about setting a marker down, this is what it's about. If Arsenal can go there and win in game week 2 after all the troubles they had with Emery and his team last season, I think the confidence it gives you, because a lot of people are anticipating Arsenal to drop points here, on the back of last season and everything else. And people thinking now, probably a draw, you never know. Aston Villa might turn it up, evening kickoff. Villa's not an easy place to go to. We know that that's one of those institutional grounds, Premier League wise. It's a great atmosphere. I've been there a couple of times, but I predicted it on the Big Six last night. I personally think Arsenal and Arteta will have learned from last season. I expect them to go there and show their progression and win.
Yeah, no, I think I expect to see a more pragmatic Arsenal. I don't think it will be as expansive as we've seen against Villa in the past, because we've seen them hurt us. And also, that's what Emery wants. He wants you to play your strengths so you can hurt your weaknesses, isn't it? Instead, I think Mikel might change it. We saw in the game against Spurs last year, at Spurs' ground. He's not scared to be a bit defensive at times. Give the opposition the ball. Because Villa actually would struggle with that in my eyes. In terms of the chaos they can cause in transition, fair enough. But if they've got to break our block down and we can hit them in a counter attack, they're in trouble. And you're right, statement. This is the first game of the season at Villa Park. If you go there and get a win, go to a ground that you weren't able to win last season, it's a sign of progression straight away. And I always think if you want to win a title, you have to show things that you couldn't do the year before. So going to Villa Park in their first game of the season against Emery with all the debates as well will be the perfect time to go beat them as well. Especially the transfer window as well. New signings have come in, Calafiori and Merino. I don't think he'll play obviously, but we'll see about the lineup in a second. But yeah, I feel like this will be decisive, despite it being the second game of the season, because we saw last year when it comes to the second half of the year, Man City are unstoppable. They'll win most of the games there. So you have to find the edge in the first half of the season instead. And that's why it's very important, because we've got Villa away, Brighton at home, then it's Spurs away, and then it's City away. So difficult games coming.
It's mad, isn't it? But this is what it's about.
This is the crunch time straight away.
This is what it's about, though. When you're playing in the Premier League up against this juggernaut that is Man City, trust me, we've been through it. Every week was a head case, man. It was like, even a draw away to any of your rivals is a loss. Feels like a loss. Yeah. It's mental.
No, it's true.
This is what you're up against, man. We've done this, man. We've been through this. So it's one of those ones you just got to keep, on it and just think 3 points. That's why when you said you think he's going to have a pragmatic, that's why when you said you think Arteta's going to have a pragmatic approach, I think it's intriguing. I'm intrigued to see how he does do it, because he's laying a foundation of not being pragmatic and really attacking games, even home away. True. So it would be intriguing.
I don't know, man. I think at this stage of the year, looking at these games, I think it's 3 points matters most, because we know we can play our style of play, but eliminate that chance, of them catching the counter attack. Go and win this game, because we know how we can go and win this game. We know we've got the quality to go and hurt Villa. So play to that strength instead, rather than playing a game style that, we play most games out of, and win most games out of as well, but can catch you out. We saw it last year, Villa Park. We were the better side, actually, in my eyes. Missed a lot of chances, and they hurt us. and the same thing at the Emirates. So revenge is on the cards as well. And also having these massive games at the start of the year is for me actually not a bad thing because we've got everyone available. And that means that in terms of my lineup, I can go pretty strong. And actually, I've made a few changes from the last game. I've put in Timber at left back over Zinchenko for the defensive security and the fact that he's fit. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Calafiori. I said that because Timber's just returned from injury, so I don't know how fit he's to start. Whereas Calafiori's been available all summer. But again, Villa Park first start for Arsenal would be kind of insane. And I've gone for Jorginho in midfield over Thomas Partey. I think he struggled in the last game in terms of the ball security, and Villa are a team that will catch you in the counter-attack. And if we need to break them down and we need that incisive passer, bring Partey off the bench. I think that's an amazing sub to make. But Jorginho for the big games, alongside Declan Rice, and also Villa play a very high line, an extremely high line. Jorginho is one of the best players in the world at playing those chip passes in behind. We've seen it time and time again for Havertz at Arsenal. And with Martinelli's pace as well, I think we can hurt them. So that's my personal lineup. You can let me know, you guys, in the comments. But Grizz, what do you think? Is that lineup strong enough to go to Villa Park with Havertz up top as well in form and make a statement?
It's mad, isn't it? Because Jorginho, and I used to say it when he was at Chelsea, I used to say, I hope Jorginho plays against us. And people say, what do you mean by that? And I was like, I hope Chelsea pick Jorginho. And even in the early days against Hughes, because the way we used to press, and Liverpool now under Klopp, we were the best pressers in Europe for at least 12 to 18 months. We were like a machine. And the amount of turnovers we'd get from Jorginho winning the ball. Now, Aston Villa under Emre do play a similar pressing style, right? And they are very, very active in the midfield. Now, I don't know what kind of midfield they're going to have tomorrow, what kind of setup, because we know Douglas Luiz is gone, Onana's taking his place. We know he covers a lot of ground. We know Tielemans ain't the most, what's the word to describe Tielemans? Like mobile. So it could work in Jorginho's favor. We know Jorginho, given time and space, not even time and space, but sort of, his first time passing into dangerous phases of the locations of the pitch, we know it's A1. It's just off the ball. But then that's where you got Rice, as you said. I think Rice, I agreed with you when you said Rice. I think Rice is one of the best coverers of ground in the Premier League, no doubt about it. And he's crucial. If you're going to play Jorginho there, it's crucial to play alongside Rice, because then Odegaard has a free reign. But yeah, look, it does. It's interesting to see how Justin Timber plays this.
Justin Timber.
What's his name?
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, that's his new name, and I'm gonna call him Justin
Timber.
Yeah.
Nah,
I've just created a new troll name for Timber if he has a bad game. So
I don't think it's a bad thing to be Justin Timberlake.
But it's interesting how he's going to play at this left back situation, man.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as I said, I think you got the capability of going there and winning.
Yeah, and the attack's going to be very important. And as a super chat says from Mafio, a 3.8 XG last year against Villa and 0 goals scored. Mad. I think both of the games with Havertz in midfield, and actually in the second game at the Emirates, despite us losing that game, Havertz was actually pretty effective at playing as a midfielder alongside Jesus. But starting him up front, I saw a stat. In 2024, he's got the most non-penalty goals and assists out of any player in the league, more than Palmer and Foden. We're talking 17 GA in 2024. These are serious numbers, undeniable numbers in my eyes. I think he's got like 15 GA in his last 13 games as well as a striker. So very effective, in good form, scored a lovely goal against Wolves as well. I think, we've got enough to go and beat them. So Grizz, give me your match prediction.
I think it's going to be, I know you think it might be a bit cagey. I don't think game week 2, I don't think you got any reason to make it cagey in game week 2. I think you go there for the 3 points. I think you absolutely go there and attack them like you do. You tend to start very quick. Again, normally Aston Villa start very quick, but except in the big games, like you said, Emre likes to just sort of lure the opposition in when it comes to big games. But even that might change now. Now that he's qualified for Champions League, the crowd might have a different outlook on things. So I'm intrigued. I'm going to fight. I'm going to, as I said, look forward to this game. Enjoy it. I think you win 2-1, broski.
Okay. No, I mean, I would take that. I'll take a clean sheet, to be honest, if I'm honest. Get another clean sheet in, and we're trying to break the Chelsea record of 15 goals conceded. We went the first game with no goals conceded.
Okay, is that your target?
No, listen, man, that should be the objective, man. That should be the objective. You got a defense, the quality that we have, and the depth that we have. and the system as well. I think that's the aim, is to go and break that record. And so it's very important that we don't concede goals this early in the season. 15 for the season though. I mean, just thinking about that now, it is crazy. You're deep when you're trying to go for the record itself. You go, hang on a minute, 15 goals a season. It's gonna be hard. But that is the aim. I'm gonna go predictions wise for this game. I'm gonna say 3-1 Arsenal. I hope we cash in, on our goals. Because last year we didn't. So this year I hope it starts raining. And we can see Villa.
I'm actually anticipating a Villa drop off this season. So I wouldn't put it past you to go there and turn them over. I know people are making.
I mean, they won their first game.
Not favourites
against West
but
Ham.
I think, yeah, exactly.
So we saw the goal from John Duran as well. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how they adapt with Onana midfield now over Douglas Luiz as well, and we'll see how that works out. I've gone for my lineup. Comments, let me know yours, of course. Smash a like as always, and make sure to check out the Football Carnage. Who's back? Consistent content. He's back. Grizz, let him know what's
we
coming up.
We had a little team talk. You know what I mean? You're my motivation, man. Even though you're younger than me, you was my motivation, man. And since I've come back, people know, man, I've been putting the work rate in. So yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's the same thing with both channels, man. My channel's back. Consistent again, feels nice. Chris has got posting videos as well. So
we needed that little refreshing. We needed that little tour.
Little break.
This is a tour to get a little break to get charged up.
It was
again.
that American food, man. We had to, after that, you had to pattern up.
No,
it was too much. And Chris didn't even finish his meals most of the time.
But
it was too much. It was too much.
People know that I'm on a little diet, man, because I have to watch what I eat at my age. You know what I mean? I can't be eating all that junk food. But you saw the portions, man. It was mad. I used to split it over 2 days.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. America was nice. But now, season started and a massive game from America. A quick little super chat here. From Matthew says we got a 2.2 XG against Villa and versus Villa last year in the game. So cash in this year. We need to be clinical, and maybe Kai's going to score a goal. I think Kai's going to score. And I think this year, Kai for the golden boot. Haaland's going to win it. Kai will be close.
Just a very quick question. Is Kai Havertz under a striker on the FPL, or is he a midfielder?
Oh, I think he's a forward now, yeah. I think he's a forward.
Damn.
I think he must be, yeah. Actually, how does that work then? Because you all have games. No, he'll be a striker. He's going to score this weekend. So we'll see about that. Grizz, it has been a pleasure to have you on the Cannon podcast. I hope you have enjoyed. The chat has definitely enjoyed as well. And we'll speak very soon. So lads, take care and peace. Thanks for keeping it Arsenal.